Welcome to Azor, the Lawbringer. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, we're going to keep on this one. I love it. We have 4 lands in the hand. We have Stoneforge Mystic. We have Supreme Will, Spell Swindle. Hope we can get some good, get some treasure tokens on Queen Marchesa. Let's go and lead off with Temple of Enlightenment. Get the Scry going, the Scurry, the Fever, the Insanity. See if we hit on top and then see if we want to put it on the bottom or not. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Yeah, that sounds... yeah, we're on the play. We're going to put that on top. If we can get it to stick, I definitely give some really good card advantage. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing Azor, the Lawbringer. Bringer of all law. He's got the Banehammer over there. Injured by a big rig, call Azor. He's on your side. Flying, Azor enters the battlefield. Each opponent can't cast instant or sorcery spells during that player's next turn. And then whenever it attacks, we may pay Sphinx Revelation. If you do, draw X cards and then gain X life. Let's go and get the island down. Let's go and go for Stoneforge Mystic. And let's really set the tone for our opponent. Get that down. Let's see what we're going to search up on Stoneforge Mystic. I'm pretty sure we do have something that I think Sword of Feast and Famine in here. Hopefully we do. We'll see though once we get it popped up. Yes, we do. We have 2 of those. Do we want to go for Swiftfoot Boots though? Nah, let's go for Sword of Feast and Famine. I kind of like that in this matchup. We'll grab that one and then anything else, we'll kick it over there. We're playing against Queen Marchesa. And she's been in some tax trouble, so we're going to try and arrest her. Death Touch and Haste. Whenever Queen Marchesa enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. Then at the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent is the Monarch, create a 1/1 assassin creature token with Death Touch and Haste. We draw into another Plains. I like this. We're making our lane drops. Let's go ahead and get an island down. We can go for the Stoneforge Mystic activation, so let's just go and leave that up. I like leaving up Supreme Will at this point right now. Hopefully we can jam Jace the Mind Sculptor next turn and then start kind of brainstorming from there. Yeah, we're not going to swing him in Stoneforge because if we can counter something with Supreme Will, definitely go for that one. Or if we want to, we can actually just dig a little bit deeper with Supreme Will. So that's what we're going to be going for. See what opponent's going to be tapping out for. Okay, opponent's going to tap out for Queen Marchesa. Let's go and go for Supreme Will. Counter target spell unless they pay 3. Yeah, I like going for that. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. And then we'll send Queen Marchesa back into the jail zone, and they'll be able to get down Jace. And with no threat against Jace, hopefully we'll be able to start brainstorming into some really good stuff. All right, drawn to Worn Power Stone. Let's go and get down Plains. Let's go and go for Jace the Mind Sculptor. It's going to be double blue. And it's funny, Jace has been unbanned in Modern, but Jace did not overtake Modern. That was one of those that everyone was really worried that was going to happen. Let's go for the Brainstorm ability, see if we can't make a few. Ooh, look at that. That's beautiful land drops. I need to put 2 cards back. Unfortunately, none of these are going to be fetch lands. Let's do this. Let's go and put the Blighted Cataract back, and we'll go and put Plains back at this point right now. Let's go and push it. Actually, we'll go and hold up Stoneforge Mystic. You know, there are some hasty options in Queen Marchesa. Maybe they're able to get her down real quick or something like that. I'd like to leave up Jace to give us some good protection. But yes, welcome to Azor the Lawbringer. Like I mentioned earlier, if you are injured by a big rig, Azor will be your lawyer. In the Dallas area, there's a lawyer called, oh, man, I'm forgetting his name. All right, opponent's going to go for Vindicate, destroy target permanent. It's Jim Adler. That's what it is. Jim Adler, the smart lawyer, the tough lawyer, something like that. Anyway, a lot of his commercials are him yelling on top of an 18-wheeler while he's standing there or something like that. And I hate those commercials. Anyway, Azor reminds me of like a really big lawyer like that. I'm just going to go for Sword of Feast and Famine. That's going to be 1, 2, 3. We can get that down, connect with Stoneforge Mystic, and then get an untapped step. And then we can hopefully we can either leave up Spell Swindle. That's going to give us a few clue tokens. Yeah, I think I kind of like that one. Excuse me, not clue tokens. We can go for treasure tokens. Let's go and swing in with Stoneforge Mystic. That's going to be a 3/4 coming across. It's going to knock them down to 27 and make them discard a card. And we get to untap all of our lands. We could go for Worn Power Stone if we wanted to, but yeah, I like leaving up Spell Swindle. We've got the mana for it. We've countered Queen Marchesa the first time. If we can hit it the second time, I think that'd be pretty good for us. But yeah, so Jim Adler, he does these really annoying commercials, and Azor the Lawbringer just reminds me of, like, you know, let's say Azor had a Better Call Saul style commercial that he would put out for different Magic channels and stuff like that. All right, Poe's going to go for Council's Judgment. Yeah, we're okay with that one. Yeah, we'll go and Spell Swindle on that one. I'm okay with that. Yeah, we'll get that down. Even if our opponent does get down Queen Marchesa, we're looking at getting down Elspeth, and we can get some good soldier tokens on the battlefield to stop that from coming across. And at the same time, with the Sword of Feast and Famine, that protection from black, him to turn, yeah, that's fine. Go for it. Oh, Elspeth goes into the underworld. We are left with an island, though. So it kind of puts us on basically just tapping out for Azor. But let's see what we draw to. Drawn to Blighted Cataract. Let's go ahead and get that down. Yeah, we're going to get that down. Anything that we need to do, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then untap with Azor. Yeah, I think I'd like that. Let's go for Azor. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. We're going to get that untapped step with a Sword of Feast and Famine, and then we can actually put the Sword of Feast and Famine onto Azor on the back end. So let's go and push in for 3 with Stoneforge Mystic. That's going to knock them down to 23. We're going to make them discard an additional card out of their hand. And we've actually done pretty good. You know, look at the things that we fought off so far. We fought off a Vindicate, Council's Judgment, and a Sword of Feast and Famine of their own. So I'll take that. We're going to make them discard a card. See what they discard off of this. Okay, and Karn does go into the graveyard. We untap all of our lands. I'm just going to shift the Sword of Feast and Famine over onto Azor. And we're going to tap out on Blighted Cataract, and then anything else we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. But yeah, so I really enjoy thinking of Azor as one of those like slip and fall lawyers where he's trying to get you to like, I don't know. It's just really funny, amusing thing to me. But M19, we got a bunch of spoilers for M19. Now, I don't typically do spoilers on my channel, but if I have time for it when I'm recording a video, I like to talk about it. And so far, I'm really excited about the stuff that we've gotten to see. There's like a cycle of horses, and like, I cannot tell you how little Magic Kid I'm excited about that. Like, just seeing that made me really happy. Like, when I saw the one horse, I was like, this sounds pretty good. And then next thing you know, we get a full cycle of horses. I didn't know we needed that. I was going to get Island down. Do we want to go for Jace? Yeah, let's go and go for Jace. So it'll be the, actually, no, we want to use the best amount of mana that we can go for. So let's go and push in with Azor, because actually I want to draw a bunch of cards. Drawing cards is really good for this deck. It really helps us get that law going, the Lawbringer. All right, so we're going to go and tap out for Sphinx Rev on this one. That's going to be double blue, and we'll tap out for white. And then I really like just cracking treasure tokens on this one. I'm going to pay the full sticker price on this one, because if something does end up happening to Azor, we're going to have to tap out with a bunch of mana. What's going on? Did we not tap enough blue? Okay. Double blue. Yes, we're going to pay that ability. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Now we have to pay X is 0. Sorry, when they do the Azor thing, it's just like really weird that they ask you different times. Sorry to our opponent. That's one of the worst things in Magic is, oh, look at that fresh grip of cards. I love it. And we have Azor swinging across too on the back end. We have Force of Will to kind of stop anything. Mystic Confluence is going to give us some really good card draw off of that. All right. Let's go and make them discard a card, and then we'll be able to make, did we make the land drop? We already did make the land drop for the turn. All right, let's just go and pass the turn. I like leaving up Force of Will on Jace. We got a full group of cards. At this point right now, we'll go and get rid of, yeah, we'll get rid of Arid Mesa. Okay, and we'll kick the turn over there. But yeah, there's a whole cycle of mares in here, which I'm really excited about. And I don't know what it is, you know, like I got in during Magic during a core set, and when they stopped the core sets, I was really sad. That was definitely a sad time. But, I understood why they did it, but to see them go back to the core sets, just to kind of catch that flavor of just a bunch of really cool cards that don't necessarily have to be synergistic to each other. Do we want to tap out for a Johnny, Force of Will on that one? We can go for, yeah, let's go and go for Mystic Confluence. We'll go and cast that one. That still keeps us online for pitching Jace with that one. Counter target spell unless they pay 3, and then we're going to draw 2 cards. Yeah, I like that. So we're going to choose a Johnny on this one. It's going to be double blue. And tap out for this one. This is pretty much, and also as far as the Azor deck, if you haven't seen this before, this is exactly what Azor wants to do. Azor wants to just counter everything and then draw into a ton of cards. All right, so we draw into Memory Lapse, and then anything else we can do at instant speed. All right, opponent's going to scoop it up on this one. Yep, this is pretty much what the Lawbringer does. You know, there are some times when you're playing against different control style decks. You know, our opponent does have stuff like Vindicate, Hymn to Turok, but thankfully we're able to get it online a lot quicker. With the Supreme Will, we were able to really kind of knock out Supreme Will, keep Queen Marchesa off the battlefield, and then just kind of went from there. And then really attacking our opponent's hand with Sword of Feast and Famine was another great way for us to really kind of get that controlled board state. And it may seem kind of why we're posting a quick control match like this one. I can't tell you how many videos I've played against Queen Marchesa where we just get absolutely dominated by control game after game after game. So for the record books, I'm going to go and post this one up because it feels good to kind of go and lock down Queen Marchesa, keep her off the battlefield. But anyways, and actually now I think about it, I might end up doing just a quick little kind of run through some of the Magic spoilers. Let me kind of transition real quick. Welcome to Azor's M19 preview spoilers. I don't know what to call it. I just paused the video because I was wanted to pull the website up, and I was like, let's just throw it into a PowerPoint real quick and then kind of go from there. So this is going to be a quick breakdown of what's been released so far in M19. I'm only really looking at the legendary creatures, so if you want to check out some of the other stuff, head over to Mythic Spoiler. But we're going to look at some of the dragons they got. There's 5 awesome dragons. I'm really excited about these in M19. They released Arcades today, the strategist. Really excited about this card. Now, we'll be replacing, unfortunately, it's going to be replacing Karametra Walls. I had Karametra for a long time. I stopped playing it, and then I rebooted it with Karametra Walls, and now they released this awesome Defender Commander. And so, unfortunately, I'm not going to be retiring Karametra. I'm just going to have to find a new way to approach Karametra in a fun and interesting way. But I'm super excited about Arcades. I'm just going to read it real quick. So we're looking at Flying and Vigilance, 3/5. And then whenever a creature with Defender enters the battlefield under control, you draw a card. And then each creature you control with Defender assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. It can attack as though it didn't have Defender. Now, if you've ever built a wall deck, if you've ever built a Defender deck, typically there's a lot of setting up you need to do. You need to find an enchantment that's going to allow your creatures to deal combat damage the other way around. You need to find the enchantment that allows your creatures that have Defender to attack in. Arcades has all of that on one card, and it gives you card draw for every time that you cast a card with Defender. So really fun. I'm really excited about this one. I can't wait to start building it, and just the fact that it has that card draw and has all the pieces on it already to simply get it on the battlefield makes me really excited. Now, the only downside is a lot of your walls or your defenders, they're going to be in the 1 to 3 range, so it kind of puts you in this weird holding pattern of you need to ramp and get some other stuff down, then go for Arcades, and then start casting some of your walls. But if you spend a lot of your early turn ramping, it won't be that bad. But definitely, Arcades is very, very high up on my to-do list. In fact, if I mispronounce any of these dragon names, let me know down in the comments before. I haven't heard anybody pronounce them, so there's going to be some really bad pronouncements during this video, so I hope you're ready. The next one is Chromium, and also as far as the image quality, unfortunately I had to pull these off of the gallery image, so they're not that high quality, so if they look kind of fuzzy, that's why. There's not a lot of good source out there. So the next one we have is Chromium. It's going to be an Esper Elder Dragon. Flash, the spell can't be countered, flying, and then for an activated ability, discard a card. Until end of turn, Chromium becomes a human with base power and toughness 1/1, loses all abilities, gains hexproof, and can't be blocked this turn. I cannot wait to build this deck. I have, I think, only one Esper deck on my channel. It's something I did about 2 years ago. And so to build an actual traditional control style Esper deck, I am so pumped for this deck. The fact that you can get it in there, it does have flash. You can, it's exactly what a control deck wants to do. Flash it in at the end of your opponent's turn. It can't be countered. And then you can simply discard a card to make it have hexproof. Now, it is a little weird that it does have an activated ability to turn it into a human 1/1. But I'm really excited that Wizards is kind of making cards like this. It's just kind of one of those things where you have to do a double take and be like, okay, so it turns into a human. All right, we can make that work. But as far as a control aspect, let's say that you get Chromium down. Let's say you have Sword of Blank and Blank on the battlefield, Sword of Feast and Famine, Fire and Ice. You discard a card to have it turn into a human, put that sword on there, swing in, connect for some pretty good chunk of damage, and then pass the turn to your opponent, untapping with all your mana. So it's a really good option for a control deck to have some sort of creature that has a lot of utility to it. So that way, if you can't swing past your opponent's creatures, let's say they have a lot of creatures in the air, you can discard a card and then simply swing in with the 1/1, kind of like Invisible Stalker on that one. The next Elder Dragon that we have is going to be the Naya Commander. It's going to be Palladia? I said that wrong. We're looking at Naya colors. It's going to be Flying, Vigilance, and Trample, and then it has hexproof if it has not been dealt damage yet. Now, basically what that means is it's kind of like cracking a seal. It's like cracking Seal Primordium. It's going to have hexproof. Once it's dealt damage, it's going to lose that hexproof. So it kind of breaks that protection seal. And now, as far as building this particular deck, it is kind of a base commander to kind of build around. So I'm really thinking about, especially as I've mentioned earlier, outside of the Defenders deck, pretty much going to be building a control deck out of most of these Elder Dragons. And you can definitely play Naya Control. Get a lot of artifact enchantment removal, Path to Exile, get a lot of card filtering with red. And I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to take the deck with this one, but I definitely want to build more of a Naya Control style deck. Naya tends to be one of my least favorite color shards. I'm not a huge fan of red-white, and especially red-white-green. I don't know why. I've never been a huge just kind of swing creatures across like that, but it does have me excited to build a Naya Control because it is fun to kind of build control decks in colors that you normally wouldn't associate with being a control style deck. On to the next one, we do have Jund, a Mount Dragon. Really excited about this one. Not even going to attempt to pronounce that. Whenever it whenever it attacks, for each player, choose target permanent that player controls. Those players sacrifice those permanents. Each player who sacrifices a permanent this way reveals the top card of a library, then puts it onto the battlefield if it's a permanent card. Now, that is a little bit of kind of like we have that Chaos Warp style effect, but being able to let's take Wasitora, for example. Whenever you have to connect with Wasitora to get that trigger going. You have to deal that damage. With this particular commander, whenever it attacks, you get that trigger on attack. So you're going to be able to sacrifice whatever permanent they have, whether it's a Planeswalker, some sort of mana rock, an enchantment that's causing you some problems. Being able to target any permanent on the battlefield is always a really good, strong ability to have on a card. And especially, having that random element of, if it's a permanent card, there's going to be some bad flips off of that, but most of the time you might just run into simply like a land or they get a basic force onto the battlefield, and you've taken care of a really big problem permanent on their side of the board. But yeah, so I have a couple different Jund decks on here, but I'm definitely going to be building more of kind of like a Wasitora style deck. Maybe not as heavy as Voltron, more just kind of like what you consider like a good Jund cube deck. You just got a lot of good Planeswalkers, a lot of removal in there, and I might even simply just do kind of a Planeswalker swamp with Wasitora, but we'll see on that one. And that's going to bring us to the last dragon. That's going to be Nicol Bolas, the Ravager. Really excited about this one, flying whenever it enters the battle. And I think I'm saying I'm really excited over each dragon because it truly is, but I'm sorry if it sounds repetitive, but I'm actually... This M19 set, they've really hit it out of the park. The cards seem really cool. Whenever it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card, and then for the 7-mana activation, we're going to exile that one. It's going to turn into a Planeswalker. Now, sitting at 4 total mana, this is going to slot perfectly into Grixis control style deck. The fact that it's going to be a 4/4 flyer, enters the battlefield, makes them discard a card, and then you have the option late game to kind of sink some mana into Nicol Bolas and turn it into a Planeswalker is really good. You're looking at the +2, draw 2 cards. That's always wonderful. -3 deals 10 damage to target creature or Planeswalker. -4, put target creature or Planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It's going to include your opponent's graveyards and your graveyard. And then the -12, exile all but the bottom card of target player's library. So, Nicol Bolas is going to steal your entire library, but this is pretty much what a Grixis control deck wants to do. Get a lot of ramp out there, get down Nicol Bolas, attack their hand, and then late game flip, and then just bury them in card advantage. Now, we're going to go on to the Wooburg commanders. It's going to be the single color commanders that they've released so far. We're super excited about Sai. I think that's how you pronounce it, Master Thopterist. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 Thopter artifact creature token with flying, and then for a 2-mana activation, sacrifice 2 artifacts, draw a card. I play Joyra, and she's a lot of fun to really get some good... This is definitely going in Joyra, but I'm also going to be building this as a standalone commander, just casting a lot of artifacts. I don't really have a mono blue artifact deck other than Arkham, but Arkham's kind of more of a, I guess I would classify it as a kind of a combo deck. So it's kind of fun to build some of these decks that are just really good artifact decks, and getting some Thopters off of a free cast is always something I'll definitely take advantage of. Now, outside of blue, we are looking at, and I just realized I didn't put these in Wooburg order, so I do apologize. I always like to put it in Wooburg order, but we did not do it this time. Goreclaw. Now, when this was released on Twitter, I was super excited because I saw the legendary creature, I saw Bear, I saw the art, and I was like, great, can't wait to build it. And then you get to the text box, and there's not really any sort of interaction with actually bears within Magic. Now, it is a little bummer, within Magic there's no bear lord, there's no sort of legendary bear out here other than Goreclaw, but I'm still really excited to build a Goreclaw. It's going to have some weird kind of build around them. Creature spells you cast with power 4 or greater cost 2 less to cast, and then whenever Goreclaw attacks, each creature you control with power 4 or greater gets +1/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. It's kind of a fun way to take a mono green deck. Most of the mono green decks that we do see online tend to be Azusa and Nissa, just a lot of ramp decks into Eldrazi. So to kind of build this mid-range mono green deck and commander, I'm really excited about it. Of course, I would love to have a bear commander that gives bears some sort of bonus on that one. Now, as far as actually building Goreclaw with the bear tribal, I have Omnath Party Bears. I might be doing that with Omnath Party Bears. I might kind of make that the commander. But as far as whenever I build traditional Goreclaw for the channel when I release it, I might actually end up building more of that power 4 or greater, simply to kind of take advantage of that one. Just because if we do end up going bear tribal with Goreclaw, there's a lot of stuff to kind of work that in there. You have to get that power and toughness bonus. We're not really going to get that reduced cost off a lot of the bears that we are going to have in the deck. So, but it's still a fun card, and I can't wait to play with it. So I'm probably going to be approaching it more from a power 4 or greater cost, and I might just simply do a commander swap for Omnath Party Bears. Just kind of see how that goes. Onto the black commander, we do have Isareth. I think that's how you say it, the Awakener. Love the art on this one. It's so much to kind of take in on this one. We have the vulture on top of her head. I love the fact that Wizards decided to use, someone with her figure like that. It's really cool to see that on a Magic card, and she just looks good. In fact, this image doesn't do it that well. You definitely need to look it up online to find a better source image. I found it on Twitter, but let's go and take a look at the rules text. It's going to have Death Touch, and then whenever she attacks, you may pay X. If you do, return target creature card with converted mana cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield with a corpse counter on it, and then if that creature would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. Now, it is a little weird that you have to attack to kind of get that additional bonus. It does have Death Touch. It is sitting at a 3/3, but typically, kind of with a 3/3 with Death Touch swinging into it, you're only probably going to get about 1 activation out of it, depending on what sort of commander game you're playing. But I'm still excited about it. I don't know how I definitely take this deck. It's almost kind of like, I feel like she would be better as a support card. Might be making some room for the Church of Athreos in there. That'd be kind of cool. Even though I'm not a huge fan of that exile clause, because typically, if you're playing any sort of graveyard reanimator strategy, you would definitely want to have those cards not get exiled and go back into the graveyard. That way you can go for those activations to go for. But it's still an interesting card. I'm really happy that they did print it. Onto the mono red commander, we're going to have Laughless, Dragon Queen. Flying, whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. And then for a 2-mana activation, dragons you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Yeah, I'll probably end up building this one. It's, it's always fun to get, free stuff as stuff enters the battlefield. So just getting a dragon entering the battlefield, get a 5/5 creature token, it's always a lot of fun. And there's not a whole lot to kind of dissect here. It's pretty straightforward. Just get a lot of dragons going, get those tokens going. So I'll definitely be building it, because I don't think I have, I'm not sure if I have a mono red deck. I know Carry Zev and a few other ones, but I don't really have a dragon style deck. So I'm really excited about this one to get those red dragons. And this is going to bring us to the last commander. That's going to be Lena, Selfless Champion. Whenever she enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token for each non-token creature you control, and then sacrifice her. Creatures you control with power less than the power gain indestructible until end of turn. Now, the fun thing about this is it's going to slot really well into some sort of kind of like Death and Taxes style build. She's going to enter the battlefield, give you a 1/1 soldier token for each non-token creature that you control, and then most of your your tax, your hate bears and stuff like that, they're going to have about power 3 or less, and so having that activated ability to give them indestructible is going to be a great way for you to kind of protect your board. But it's completely open. You can go Night Tribal, you can go just mono good white stuff. You could definitely go my goat deck. I'm trying to remember the Springjack Shepherd. So you can definitely kind of build like a mono white devotion style deck. Just the fact that you're going to get these extra tokens, you can throw an Anointed Procession in there to really take advantage of that one, and then protect your creature is going to make for a lot of fun. So she's really open as far as whatever sort of creature base you want to go for. And at 6 total mana, it's not that bad for both effects that she does have. And now that will wrap it up for the commanders so far that's been released. There might be potentially releasing more. We did see 5 dragons, and we did see 5 Wooburg monocolored commanders, so I think they're still releasing some spoilers. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and if you actually enjoyed Azor and this video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.